Okay guys, Melee Professor here. Just want to make a final 2024 tier list. If you haven't checked out my original, check it out. Also, I had a good video comparing my tier list to Hungrybox's tier list. I do think his was a little bit better than mine with the data we have now. Again, we don't want to have recency bias. I think recency bias is a good way to destroy a tier list. But let's just do this quick. Let's make this a lot quicker than our other tier list videos. Again, only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiers. So you might say, you got rid of a tier since your last tier list. But this is going to be my final 2024 tier list. I do have Bowser in last still, but I don't think Bowser's in his own tier. Now, the new trend for tier list have been people ranking Bowser, not last, which I just don't agree with at all, guys. Some people had Kirby last, or, maybe Pichu, Zelda, Ness, but I do think Bowser's the worst in the game. We don't have any new data. There's that one red-headed player, something Pelvis, I can't remember the gamer tag, but he did look pretty good. He was playing pretty good in that one tournament, but, like, I need to see a consistent Bowser, or maybe even a pro player really bring Bowser up. But for now, I do have to leave Bowser last. I do think I made a separate video. Bowser's still in last place for now. I do stand by that. I know this is like, in terms of room to grow, Bowser could have the most room to grow. But like, from the data I've seen, Bowser has no moves. Like, just has the up B, which is great. Other than that, like, no good matchups. I think Bowser's the worst character game. I don't think he's in his own tier. I think I made a mistake last time. But I still think Bowser's the worst character in the game. Next up, I'm going to stick with Zelda. I used to think Zelda was a little bit better, but the problem with Zelda is Zelda only has 2 good moves, 2 good aerials, that's it, and a decent recovery. But, again, and the other problem with these characters is, like, we need more data. We need someone to rep them. Now, you could say, well, again, you don't want to have recency bias. That is going to be, like, recency bias right now would obviously favor DK, what we just saw Junebug do at the end of 2024. Even Falco. I'm going to move Falco's placement because I really like what Mango's been doing. But you have to look historically for your tier list, not just recently. And, there's no new data on Zelda, so I do have to leave Zelda down there. I don't think there's any new data that moves either of these characters up. Now, you could argue, well, you have both of these too low, Kirby too high, but I do have to leave it for that. Unless a pro player really reps these two, I do still think they're the 2 worst in the game. Like, Zelda, like, you're just spamming the same 2 moves. So, like, at the low level, my level, that could work. But, like, at the high level, like, you go to, like, a big tournament, one of the majors or super majors, like, that's not going to work. Like, players who know how to overcome that. They know how to dodge those 2 moves, and, like, you wouldn't be able to combo. Right, okay, so let's just keep moving on here. Next up, I am going to stick with Pichu. So, no changes here on this bottom tier, aside from Bowser, moving up a tier. Pichu, I think, has, like, potential. Like, we did see some pro players used to rep Pichu. But again, no new data on Pichu. Pichu dies easily. I do like that Pichu's hard to hit. Like, I like these small characters that are hard to hit. Pichu, Kirby, even, you could even argue, like, the Marios. Like, Dr. Mario's a little bit smaller. Pikachu, Young Link, but, I'm not a fan of Young Link. But, right, like, hard to hit Pichu is a little more elusive than you think. Same with Dr. Mario, same with Kirby. I think, like, a little bit harder to KO than you think. Believe it or not, I do think Pichu's actually lighter than Kirby, but Pichu has good combos, too. Has a really good recovery, has some good moves on the ground, even has some good areas, but I just don't see it. We need someone to really rep this character, so I am going to leave it here. So, bottom D tier, I have the same for the end of 2024. I don't have enough data to move any of these characters. But again, I am going to move Bowser up a tier. I don't think Bowser should be in his own tier. I am factoring my own data here, my own research, also Hungrybox's data, and also, the current trends. The current trends of these characters. Next up, I have Ness. So, no change here either. No change here either. I used to think you could debate these, maybe Pichu above Ness. I used to think Zelda was better than both of them because of how strong those 2 moves are. But, like, Ness has better combos. Again, I do want to see someone rep these characters. These characters do have a lot of room to grow. They are in the worst tier. So the only way to go up is up. Ness can't recover. And I have been very pro Game & Watch recently. But, like, I don't know, guys. Like, Game & Watch can't really recover either. So you could argue I'm underranking Ness, but Game & Watch just hits much harder. So that's why I do have to keep Ness there. Game & Watch. I'm going to put on. Okay, let's move on. I don't want this video to be too long. Next up, I have Kirby. Now, I think a lot of people... Actually, I had a couple people agree with me that Kirby's better than these characters. I still think Kirby is D tier. Actually, this should probably be an F. Let's make this an F. F is always the worst tier. Yeah, F should always be the worst tier, not a D. But right, so I do like characters. There's a couple people repping Kirby at the low level too, like Plu. Again, I can't think of the other gamer tag right now, but like I am gonna leave Kirby there. I don't think Kirby's a tier above Ness, Pichu, Zelda, or Bowser, but I think he's clearly like better than all of them. You know, next to my list, I do have Young Link. I do think Kirby has a lot of room to grow, too. I do think Kirby could move up in the near future. I am going to stick with Young Link. As we know, I'm not a fan of Young Link. We haven't seen Rocket or, like, the top 100 Young Links. I don't think we're going to have a top 100 Young Link for 2024. And, you know, a lot of people argue Young Link is a lot better than he is. I do think historically still the most overrated character in the game. Decent recovery, decent speed. Like, the speed is good. You know, almost like a Pichu or a Ness. You know, the speed is pretty good. But the problem is Young Link's moves don't hit any damage. Now, a lot of people have, like, not recency bias, but historical bias here. That one match. I think that one set where, who was it? Who took out Hungrybox? Was it Armada, one of the old Melee gods, with Young Link? I do think people are so fixated on that one set to forget about recency bias. Historic bias, like, I think if it wasn't for that set, most people would consider, like, Young Link here. Like, the third in the game. Like, Young Link's moves don't hit any damage. Now, you could Google, like, some YouTube video or Twitch video of, like, someone doing crazy combos with Young Link. You know, like, even, like, Ness and Pichu, Young Link has great combos. But that's in, like, practice. Like, remember, we got to remember, this is in tournament at the highest possible level. I don't know what you do with Young Link. I think the, you know, the Jigglypuff matchup isn't bad. Maybe you could even argue Peach, but, like, Young Link Spaceys, I think is like 80-20 in favor of the Spaceys, where I don't think that's the case for Kirby. I don't think that's the case for Ness or Pichu, but like Young Link is terrible against the high tiers. Even Young Link Marth isn't good, where I think Link Marth is not bad. I think that's a lot closer than people think. Young Link Sheik isn't good. Like, Young Link has no good matchups in the higher mid-tier, like, at all. I know people might not agree with that, except for Puff. You know, I do think the Puff matchup is decent. But right, yeah, I'm not a fan of Young Link. I do have to leave Young Link there. Next up, who do I have? I had Mario. Now, I do think I ranked Mario a little bit low in my last tier list. I am going to move Mario up a tier, but I'm still no fan of Mario. But a really good move for Mario is that cape. You could kind of reverse your opponent's direction. I do think I maybe underestimated, like, Dr. Mario in my last video, maybe even overrated Luigi. You know, we are seeing the trend going in favor of the Marios instead of Luigi. I do think Luigi's trending a little bit down. You know, we haven't seen in the top Luigi's do much recently. Mario has a little bit of a better recovery than I thought. Probably has a better recovery than these. Actually, not really. Pichu has a better recovery. Zelda has a better recovery. Mario has some decent matchups, too. I do think I maybe underestimated Mario in my last tier list, but I do think Mario's still historically a very overrated character. Like, a lot of people have Mario in, like, B tier or, like, high C tier. I just don't see it. I just don't see how you could possibly rank Mario that high. I don't know what specific matchups in the high tier you would want with Mario, because he's kind of like everything's average. Like everything's kind of like, he's pretty neutral character. Also, like, even in terms of stage spread, like Dr. Mario and Mario, I don't know if the stage would even matter that much. They're kind of, like, neutral everywhere. Same with Kirby. Like, I play against one good Kirby. Like, I don't even know if the stage matters as much as you think with Kirby. They're kind of neutral characters. The recovery is decent. You can get back at any stage. But right, I do have to leave Mario there for now. I do think I ranked him a little bit low in my last tier list. Next up, I had Game & Watch. I am going to move Game & Watch. It's going to be the one few characters I move. And I am going to move Roy. I am going to move both Roy and Game & Watch in this tier list. And I'm going to move them both above Mewtwo. Now, you might say, well, Melee Professor, you have so much recency bias there. Because we also what Mewtwo could do historically. But there's no one, if there's no one repping the character, I don't want to have too much recency bias. But, like, the character can only go down. Like, there's no one really, we haven't seen anyone great repping Young Link this year. Like, his trend is down, whereas Kirby's trend is up because some people still rep him. Game & Watch's trend is still up. You know, there's two, I'm drawing a blank on both of their gamer tags. Glock and My Toyota and the other one. You know, there's two good Game & Watches. This character could trend up because we haven't seen the potential. You know, this character has future potential, and there are people repping him. Now, you could make the same argument and say, well, no one's really repping Roy, but we have just seen from Don't Test Me, from Mr. Zane, I think, you know, I do think Martha's the best character in the game still. I know people don't agree with that either, but I do think these two are very trending up. Like Hungrybox said, their stocks are trending up. I don't want to have too much recency bias because, this is an end of 2024 tier list. I already made my 2024 tier list and I already made one video comparing mine to Hungry Boxes. But let me just see what I have written down there. Yeah, I am going to leave it like that for now. Mewtwo has potential too, but no one reps the character. Mewtwo has such good aerials. Like the back air has a good grab, good throws off the grab. Mewtwo's a great character. Can't really wave dash, has a big hitbox, but you could make up for that if you're really good. It's just we haven't seen anyone in years. Maybe you could argue a Leffen just on Slippy. But what happened to Taj? Do any of these old school Mewtwo still play? These characters, none of these characters are bad that I've played so far. Maybe with the exception of Bowser or Zelda. I know people have been on the Bowser trend. I think Hungry Box, some people are Bowser here or here and had Kirby last. I'm that's ridiculous. What data are we basing that on? We have to look at the actual results in tournaments. Yeah, but I like all these characters, but I am going to leave the current meta there. So again, this is a change from my last tier list. I am ranking Roy above Game & Watch. I am moving Mario up a tier. I am moving Bowser up a tier. I don't believe he's his own tier. Yeah, I'm going to leave it like that. I do think I have it right like that for now. Next up, I'm going to put Ganondorf. We've been a little bit disappointed in Ganondorf lately. We used to rank Ganondorf higher in our tier list. Of course, next we have DK. DK's placement is obviously going to change. That's going to be my biggest change. You could call recency bias on that, but, I do think Junebug, and we have seen, there's, more than just Junebug. We have seen how well DK has done. But Ganondorf is a little bit faster than we think, but not as fast as DK. We've really seen the speed of DK recently. DK is a fast character, especially on a smaller stage, and he has a really good matchup against Fox, whereas Ganondorf, the problem is, I don't know what high tier he has a good matchup against. And I know I keep saying that. You say you can't base this whole thing based off, the recent trend of the character. But, Ganondorf Marth maybe at Yoshi's Island is a good matchup. But other than that, Ganondorf Fox, Ganondorf Falco, Ganondorf Sheik, Ganondorf Puff, these are not good matchups. Even, the mid-tier, Ganondorf Pika, Ganondorf Peach, there's not much advantage there. So I do have to leave it like that for now. I think in the future, we could see Ganon go down even more. I want to see there's none. Is anyone at the high level really repping this character? Again, I don't have too much recency bias. I do want to consider the historical how Ganondorf has done. But, recently, we have not seen anything from Ganondorf, especially in the high and mid-tier. Especially at a bigger stage. He's faster than I initially thought, but not as fast as DK. So I do have to leave it like that for now. I want to do this? Yep, I'm going to leave it like that for now. I am going to move DK up a tier. So last time, of course, I had Doctor and Link. I did put Doctor and Link above DK, which I think is a big mistake. I do think Link is a very good pocket pick, but we just haven't seen it this year from Aklo. We haven't seen, especially he lost that last fight against Axe, believe it or not. Link did not look great against Pikachu. I think DK has jumped above both of these characters. And I know you might not agree with that, but actually, no, most people would agree with that because most people do agree I rank Link and Doctor so far. I'm also going to put Doctor above my Link. And do I want to do this? Do I want to pop my Link a tier down? I am a huge fan of Link, but yeah, I have to put Link a tier down. I don't think it's reasonable to argue that Link is even on the same tier as DK or Doctor because, they just have a much better spread. Link's spread is not as good. Now, you could argue, well, the Sheik matchup is still pretty bad for DK. Junebug just didn't run into last tournament, but, DK's trending up, guys. I do think the meta of the game changed in last tournament. You could, again, just call recency bias, but, DK Fox is close, guys. DK versus Fox is not a terrible matchup at all. DK Puff isn't bad. Even DK Marth, DK's trend is really going up lately. Right, whereas Doctor, I think, is staying stagnant. I do think Link's trending a little bit down. I do want to see someone maybe main Link, because, Aklo hasn't pulled him out that successfully recently, like we saw in the last 2 years. Again, I think DK has a much better spread than Link. I think Doctor has a much better spread than Link. This is an overall tier list. It's not just as a pocket pick. I do think you could solo these two characters. B tier and above, I think you could solo, whereas I don't see how you would really solo. I mean, who would you would really solo? I made a video about this. Maybe Game & Watch, maybe Roy. Just soloing Link or Ganon is going to be tough at the high level. I mean, no offense, that's why I have these guys in C and F tier. You can't solo any of these characters. Even my Link, Ganon, and Roy or Game & Watch. Maybe Game & Watch. Do I want to put Game & Watch? No, I can't do it. I just think these three are better than Game & Watch for now. Again, that could change in the near future, but okay. Let's leave it like that for now. We got to keep going. Luigi. I do think Luigi's been trending down. I can't put Luigi in A tier. I'm going to put drop Luigi down to B tier. I'm going to drop Luigi down to B tier, but then again, I have Samus next. We just saw Plup with Samus. I don't know, that's close. I used to think Luigi is better than Samus. I don't feel that way anymore. I think DK's gaining on Luigi. Like, this is close. This is close. Dr. DK Luigi, this is like a toss-up now. This is razor thin. Whereas I don't think anyone else I ranked is razor thin. I don't think, like, I think Zelda's clearly better than Bowser. I think Pichu's clearly better than Zelda. I think Ness is clearly better than Pichu. I think Kirby's clearly better than these four. I know a lot of people don't agree with that. Some of the pros had Kirby last. I don't agree at all. We don't have data on that yet. You know what? Am I going to move Young Link down? No, I can't move Young Link down just because he has the speed and the Puff matchup. But, like, I don't know, guys. I'm not a fan of Young Link at all. But I do think Mario deserves this spot. I do think Doctor's a lot closer to Luigi than I thought. That's why I have them in the same tier. You know, that's just definitely a strong tier. I have them in the same tier. But Samus has really good combos. Also, much better matchups than we thought in the high tier. Even like a DK. Like, I want to see Morse Code or one of these guys go all the way in tournament. Maybe I thought it'd be Plup last time. I did pick Plup to win. I didn't know he was going to pull out the Samus. But historically, we've seen Samus good. Just recently, we haven't seen... well, that's not true. We did see Morse Code knock Cody out. Knock him out to losers in one of those majors. But right, I do have to see more data on Samus. Where is this character go? Samus and Luigi. And even DK. Like, these are kind of three hot characters, especially DK. Maybe even Samus right now. Very played characters. These are all like a toss-up in B tier. But okay, let's move on. Next up, I have Pikachu and Ices. And for a while, I was thinking they're a tier above, but I actually don't think they're a tier above. I have Pikachu and Ices. Where's my Ices? Where's the Ices together? Oh, right here. Okay, I'm not going to rank the Ices solo. I always thought that was stupid when people do that. You know, for a while, I thought Pikachu was better than Ices. I don't think that at all. I think Ices is clearly better. We haven't seen Wobbles or Slug. We haven't seen, like, what happened to the Ices? Like, the Ices pros have been a mystery. Like, they've just vanished. But, you know, for my final 2024 tier list, I do have to leave it like that. Right, like, just because historically we've seen how good the Ices were. Again, Wobbling's not allowed anymore. I know Hungrybox believes Ices are higher tier now on Slippy, but Slippy's one thing. You know, I have to go off overall what I see in tournament, and I have not seen the results yet in tournament. So, again, like, if I said characters willing to change the most, that can change the most, I think Ices, DK, Samus... maybe even Game & Watch, like, these characters are very fluid. Like, these are razor thin, and, you know, these characters could likely change, but I do have to leave it like that. Okay, we have 5 apiece in each tier so far. Let's just keep moving on. Who do I have next up? Next up, I have Yoshi. I do predict Arms is going to win this tournament in 3 days. By the time I upload this video, I do think Arms is going to win this tournament. I know I've been saying that all year. He took 2 seconds early. We have not seen a dominant Arms since what year was that? 2021 or 2022? Like, Yoshi's strength has been down. Because at the high level, I know there's one other player, Eggs, that reps him, but at the high level, Amsa's the only one that reps him. So unless Amsa wins one of these 2 tournaments, you cannot, one of these 3 tournaments left for 2024, you cannot possibly rank Yoshi above Peach. I know some people might do that. That's what the trend was for 2021, 2022. But, like, Amsa's the only one ranking this character. And there are still a couple good Peach players. Actually, we have not seen Peaches do specifically well in 23 or 24. But there are more people who play Peach. And we did see a Marta, you know, historically, this character do much better. Whereas to have recency bias, like, in the future, we may put Yoshi above Peach, but I can't do it yet. Same with Bowser, you know. I made a mistake. I said Bowser has always been ranked last. You know, Kirby has actually been ranked lower than Bowser historically. But for this right now, I do have to leave it like that in the current meta. You know, only 5 tiers here. So, you know, some of these are pretty close. But I do have to leave it like that. Next up, I have Captain Falcon. I do have another change in my high tier. I do have another change in my A tier. People might not agree with. But I do have to use Captain. We have not seen Wizzy or None do specifically well. But, again, just historically, recency bias. You know, we did see, who was it, None or Wizzy, win one major a year or 2 ago. Captain Falcon can be soloed the entire time, just like Peach, just like Yoshi. You know, these are why these characters in A tier. Again, you could solo the B tiers the whole time. But in modern melee, like... Have we seen Slug win a major? No. Have we seen Axe win a major? No. Have we seen Morse Code win a major, even Plup when he switched? No. Like, these characters, it's hard to solo and win the whole thing. We haven't really seen it. Whereas the A tiers, you can solo and win the whole thing. And, you know, you have to win. You know, a lot of my tier lists are based off winning. You have to win the tournament. Okay. Next up, I do want to see more data, like some of the Highland matchups of these 3. We'll see soon. Next up, I had Falco. I am going to move Falco up in my tier list just because, I thought Falco, who did I have? Falco, Sheik, and Puff. So this is going to be a big change too. I had Falco, Sheik, and Puff. And I know people might not agree with this. You might agree with my old list, but I'm going to move Falco above both of these. I do think this is probably the closest in my last tier list. But, you know, I think these two are actually interchangeable, too. Am I going to move my Puff down 2 spaces? I think Sheik and Puff is like a tie. Like, that's so freaking close, guys. I mean, at the absolute highest level, but then again, I do think, I was thinking in my last tier list, these two characters have been figured out. Like, Falco and Puff, the matchup has just been figured out. Their trend is down. But I don't think they're figured out yet because Mango won the last tournament. Specifically, like, Falco Fox is 50-50. I think DK Fox is a lot closer than we think, too. Actually, I think Sheik maybe gets puffed by a hair. I mean, you could argue, well, that's recency bias just because we haven't seen Hungrybox do anything great, you know, this year. It took a couple seconds, took 1 second. But then again, have we seen a Sheik win this year, last year? No, J-Mook won in the rain. That was 2 years ago. But I do think Falco, again, you could argue recency bias, like, it's like a timeless character. I think that's the word. I thought if these three were washed up, they were figured out. Maybe not Sheik, but I thought Puff and Falco were washed up, figured out. These characters have not been maxed out yet. Like, Mango is still making new strides with Falco. And I think he's clearly the best character in the game. Like, even in 2024, like, Mango just dominated the last 2 tournaments. I didn't pick him for either. I'm not picking him for this Friday. You know, I'm not picking him for this weekend because I think it's so hard to three-peat. But I do think those last 2 tournaments actually changed the meta. You know, I do think the last 2 tournaments moved DK way higher. And I do think they move Falco above Sheik and Puff. I mean, guys, this I can't even decide. This is razor thin. Like, oh, no, want to put Captain there. I don't think Captain has done it yet. Or historically, I don't think... I know people don't agree. Some people think Captain's a little bit higher. But I do think I definitely have these 3 right. Captain, Peach, and Yoshi for now. But this is razor thin. I can't decide. I'm going to say Sheik is a hair better than Puff just because the overall spread. Whereas, you know, Puff, like... Puff, Marth... Puff, Fox. You know, Puff, Fox is clearly in Fox's favor. Puff, Falco. You know, Puff Falco. We did see, you know, Mango switch to Fox, but I even think Puff Falco's tar. Puff Captain is not great. You know, Wizzy beat H-Box in the last couple matches at the highest level. Captain is so fast. Like, I've been dominated by Captains. I've been absolutely crushed. Captain's not that hard to figure out how to play either. Same with Puff, but okay, I'm going to leave it like that for now. So this is a huge jump. You know, I am going to move Falco up 2 spots. Okay, and finally, like always, I do think Martha's the best character. I do think Fox is second. I do think Fox has been sliding a little bit. But, you know, the Fox fans are lucky that Cody is still repping him because Cody's just an unbelievable player. Like a once-in-a-lifetime player. I think he's just as good as the other melee gods. Same with Zane, if not better. These are the 2 modern melee gods. Again, Zane, I need him to show up in this next tournament because his trend has been a little bit down earlier in the year and last year. Actually, last 3 years, Zane has been so dominant. Like I said in my last video, you know, he's one of the only players to win 3 in a row. It's so hard to win 3 in a row. This is actually a perfectly symmetrical tier list, right? 5 in each tier, Marth and Fox. Whereas, you know, I don't even think Marth has as many weaknesses as Fox. Like, I do think Fox DK, not great. Fox Sheik. Fox does be put. Fox Falco, I think, is 50-50. Like, we've seen that recently. Like, Fox Falco is 50-50. Fox Captain, I do think Fox beats up Yoshi pretty well, though. Maybe some of these mid-tiers. I used to think Fox had the overall better spread than Marth, but now I think it's the opposite. I think Marth has the overall better spread than Fox. That's what I'm going to do. Even stage select, even stage spread, I think Marth's stage spread is a little bit better than Fox's. Right, okay, so let's just see any last-minute corrections, because this is going to be my final 2024 tier list. I promise I won't make another one. This is it. Bowser, I think, is definitely last. Zelda, Pichu. No, I don't want to do that. Pichu just has better combos. Zelda can't combo, just spamming 2 moves. You know, which at the mid and low level could actually be good. At the mid and low level, I could say Zelda's like here, but at the top level, like a pro should be able to figure that out. But then again, you know, the top Foxes couldn't figure out the DK matches last time. Right, okay, so Ness, Kirby, Young Link. Do I want to do this? No, I don't want to do that. I can't do it, guys. I'm sorry. You could say I'm a hater, but I don't want to do that. I do think Young Link is F tier. I do think people have a lot of historical bias with that one matchup. I do think that one matchup, like, cements his place as not, like, one of the worst in the game, but, like, I haven't seen anything from Young Link. Again, you could probably find a sick combo video. Right, but, okay, I do want to leave Mario here. I think Mario maybe go above Mewtwo because no one reps Mewtwo, but I do think Mewtwo's the better character for the recovery, the aerials. Game & Watch definitely here. I do think Game & Watch could trend up in the near future. Roy, you know, I do respect. I think Hungrybox, you know, influenced me here. I do think Roy and Game & Watch are definitely both better than Mewtwo in the current meta. Right, Ganondorf. I don't know what to do with Ganondorf, guys. We got to see more from Ganondorf. Been a little disappointed in Ganondorf. I did rank Link a little bit lower. I'm a huge fan of Link, but, like, I just haven't seen it from Act Low. you know, we do see good links on Slippy and local tournaments, but like at the highest level, we got to see more out of Akala or someone else just rise up. You know, I don't think you could argue, maybe as a pocket pick, yes, but overall spread, I don't think you could argue Link has anywhere near as good as Dr., DK, or Luigi. Some people might argue this. So looking at this, some people might argue DK over Luigi. I'm not going to do that yet. I think that could happen in the future. Definitely, I think these three are in the right spot. Luigi's been trending down. I do want to see an old school Luigi or a new Luigi. There's that one young guy, Rap Monster. Rap something. I'm forgetting his gamer tag. He could maybe move this up, a younger player. You know, we haven't seen much of the old school. Samus is a tricky one, too. Like, Samus and Ganon. Like, whereas Ganon, we don't have that much data. Samus, we have a lot of new data. Like, that's a tricky one also. I mean, I'm going to leave it there from now. I do think Pikachu has been trending a little bit down recently. Again, at the high level. There's actually another young guy. I forgot his tag. But I haven't liked what I've been seeing from Axe at all recently. Again, I haven't what I liked. There's one German Ices. I'm trying to think of all the tags. Haven't liked what I'm seeing out of the Ices. Again, I know HBox argued on Slippy. He's seeing good stuff out of them. But in tournament, you know, my whole channel is essentially copying all the big tournaments. I haven't seen much out of Ices. Definitely Yoshi here. Again, I was thinking in my last tier list, you know, Yoshi could be top, best of the best soon, maybe top 3, maybe top 4, but we just haven't seen it from AMSA. You know, we just haven't seen it from AMSA. So definitely, you know, these three, I think I nailed Yoshi, Peach, Captain. And this was another big change. You know, this was a huge change too. I'm going to move Falco above these two. Now, you could claim recency bias, but it's just a timeless character. You know, even in 2024, in the last two tournaments, Mango won both tournaments, soloing Falco the entire time, only switched to Fox once for Hungrybox. And I do think these two are still in their own tier, but I think this could change soon too, just because what we've seen out of Falco, Sheik, Puff, Captain, Peach, Yoshi, like, I do think in the future these two, I always believe they're in their own tier, but, like, we need more data. Like, can Zayn and Cody win these next 3 tournaments? Because, like, the meta is always changing, guys. I don't know if these two will be in their own tier for forever, especially because we've seen, like, recent challenges to Fox, like DK. Like, who would have ever thought DK is, like, like a decent matchup against Fox? I would have never thought. Right, but, you know, Zayn has still been so dominant, except with the exception of very recently. I do have to leave Martha 1, but, like, even at the top end, this could change too. But, okay, guys, hope everyone enjoys. This is my final tier list 2024. Hope everyone's having a good week, has a good weekend. Check out the next tournament coming up. Check out my other videos. See you guys.